Big Dumb Movie is a comedic podcast that often contains obscene language and outlandish commentary. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Big Dumb Movie, where we discuss movies of the big dumb variety. I'm your host, Corey, and I'm here with two of my good friends today. First up, Jonathan, say hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Second up, Josh, say hi.
Boo.
I said say hi, goddammit.
Hi, what's up? Boo.
It's all good. Welcome to this Halloween, horror, whatever the fuck you want to call it, October edition of Big Dumb Movie, where we're going to talk about a horror movie that I saw at a fairly young age in my adolescence, a movie that has stuck with me for a long time, I guess to some degree. Josh, you kind of reminded me of this movie's existence. Well, not its existence, but you reminded me of something funny, which is Ghost Chris Kattan, when we did that Casper podcast recently.
Good shit.
And I said, you know what, we got to do a podcast on this, and here we are. House on Haunted Hill, the 1999 version. This was released on October 29th, 1999, near Halloween. Usually, when a movie comes out in October, it's, because of the Halloween season, and there's other horror movies that are released around the same time. What I did is I looked up some movies that came out around this time. I want to read them off to you guys because it was a fucking barren year. 1999. The October Halloween season, there was not a lot going on. All right. Children of the Corn, 666, Isaac's Return. Ever heard of it, Jonathan?
No.
No?
Children of the Corn, yeah, but didn't the original one come out in the 70s or something like that?
I believe it was an 80s movie, early 80s.
Yeah.
Kirstie Alley.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Was it the sixth one in the series?
It was the 666th one in the series. I bet you didn't even know they had that many.
It was Children of the Corn, Execute Order 66.
They've been filming nonstop since 81.
They've just been putting out one a week. Yeah. There's more Children of the Corn movies than there are, unreleased Prince songs. All right, here's another one. From Dusk Till Dawn, 3, The Hangman's Daughter.
Shit.
Sounds like a banger.
I'm familiar with the second one. I've never fucking seen the third one. It sounds like... yeah, because that one's back in time in the 1400s, some shit like that. Yeah.
Prequels?
Stupid, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a second or third one.
Well, sometimes these sequels, they just look so bad that no one ever sees them and they get forgotten in time, which I think is the case for this next one too. Warlock 3, The End of Innocence.
I've seen this one.
You've seen Warlock 3, okay, I stand corrected. There is someone that in this group that watches movies this bad.
So these were all theatrical releases?
I don't know if they all were, but these were the horror movies that were released in October. The other ones were so obscure, they were more obscure than these. So yeah.
The Sci-Fi Channel, I'm gonna just shout out to those guys, did a marathon of all 3 Wishmaster movies, and I became very familiar with those.
Okay. Warlock movies or Wishmaster movies?
Oh shit. My bad.
Well, Wishmaster, alright, we can talk about Wishmaster. That's one I want to do a podcast on. That's like a monkey's paw movie.
Please excuse Corey while he describes the plot of Wishcraft, not Wishmaster. Thank you.
A kid gets a special thing that grants you wishes, and he wishes to the hottest girl in school to be his girlfriend. And then there's some kind of consequence though, yeah, she's his girlfriend, but something bad's gonna happen.
She's got the herpes.
Yeah, some shit like that. She's got herpes or something.
So there, whatever positive, there's a equal negative to
yeah.
it. Okay.
And that's a horror movie of the 2000s, which I also consider this one to be a horror movie of the 2000s because they have a certain feel to them, don't you think, Josh?
Oh, totally. Yeah, they're totally not dated with terrible CGI. Like The Haunting with Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's totally not dated with, horrible CGI like Anaconda,
Well, there's that, but there's also this, weird, cleanness to them.
Exactly. And it's totally because it's not dated with horrible CGI. I don't know what it is, but like around this time they were really pushing for the PG-13 horror, right? It's like in the wake of Scream, right?
Yeah. This doesn't exactly fit that mold, but we did that 13 Ghosts movie.
So yeah, this is brought to us by Dark Castle, who brought us 13 Ghosts.
Oh man.
So that means next year we got to do Ghost Ship, which is the other, and then the year after that we got to do Gothica.
Yeah, that's another one I was thinking. These like horror movies of the 2000s, like Jason X and Gothica, and like The Cell. Like they have this like weird vibe to them, and like they're like the horror movies that like no one seems to remember fondly at all, like they do with like the 80s and 90s. And like modern horror has gotten pretty good, like with movies like The Witch and stuff. But anyway,
yeah, modern horror is just fucking fantastic right now.
Oh, I agree. But we're here to talk about House on Haunted Hill, directed by William Malone. Jonathan, why don't you take us into it? This movie starts off, I think, pretty strongly. What do you think?
Yeah, it was kind of wild. You get this weird stop motion, shaky screen, lots of strobe lights, kind of flashy intro. It was so just off-putting from the beginning.
The intro credits, you mean?
Yeah. It was just like, ugh.
More so, the stuff in the 1931 era. What do you think about that?
I think that a lot of what they were doing in there probably actually happened in places, like, for sure. They started out in the psych ward, and they're doing experimental surgeries on conscious people. They're not even like no anesthesia or anything. They're just like, all right, let's just start digging into this guy's brain, pull his skull cap off.
Jeffrey Combs, who like the Reanimator, who I fucking love Jeffrey Combs.
I love Jeffrey Combs too. Now, Jonathan, that name might not mean a lot to you. He's the guy that played Dr. Vannicut in this movie.
Okay.
He's like the doctor, and we see him as a ghost a lot, but also a hardcore Star Trek alum, that guy. That guy is very often in the 90s Star Trek series in heavy alien makeup. So anyway.
Who did he play?
He played a lot of characters, but the most famous one was Wei Yun from Deep Space Nine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch a lot of Deep Space Nine. I watched a lot of Next Generation with my parents when we were younger.
I know him mostly from the Reanimator.
Yeah, but Jeffrey Combs is pretty cool. There's some pretty hardcore shit going on though in 1931. Like Jonathan said, they're like doing surgery on people and they're like electroshocking them. It seems like to me they're just doing it for purely sadistic means.
This was definitely not like a medical research for the benefit of the people. This was like
for funsies.
Fucking
for shits and gigs, right?
Like I have a hobby of like opening people up and fucking with them.
Yeah. I have a hobby of just, cutting into people and just fucking around,
Yeah, it's my work day and it's my Saturday night.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. And the crazy thing is that this during that time period, this totally could have been happening. Like it totally could have been real and been played off, or the money being dispersed along the right channels to get away with this kind of shit.
Right. Like, who's to stop them from doing it anyway?
Right. You're out on this. They're on an island, right? Isn't the house like basically on an island?
I don't know if it's like on an island necessarily, but it's definitely like semi-secluded.
Yeah, well, not to give anything away, but at the very end, they're like, "Oh, well, how are we getting out of here?" When they're staring at the water.
Is it safe to say that it's a house? It looks like this giant fucking weird ass mausoleum or some shit. What the fuck?
They say house a lot, don't they? Like,
right?
They describe this place as a house many times.
Well, because up on the top it is a house, and then down below is all of the other rooms and experimenting chambers.
The hospital.
Yeah.
I guess it would be classified
Was
as.
Jeffrey Combs just chilling, just busting mad chills and then going downstairs to cut into people?
Probably.
You know what it is? He did it for tax write-offs. I'm pretty sure. Because if I live where my place of business is, I can get a pretty mean tax write-off.
Oh, okay. This is the guy that would know.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this, actually. It's the hill that's haunted, according to the title. The house isn't even haunted.
Right?
It's just a house on a haunted hill.
Yeah.
So was it always going to be haunted, no matter what?
Well, the hill is. Yeah, the hill was haunted before the house ever got there.
So maybe the haunted hill turned the doctor sadistic.
Into a house.
He turned him into a house.
So yeah, there's some pretty good shit. There's two moments that work for me. Well, two scenes that work for me in this movie. One of them is the beginning scene because it's crazy torture. There's a good amount of gore, and when the patients riot and they take over the place and they kill everyone, it's pretty horrific, I think.
Yeah, it was really intense. I was glued during that scene for sure.
And I think for that reason, it works really well. There's one other moment in this movie that works for me really well. The rest, maybe not so much. I did watch this movie on right as it came to VHS. I think I rented it on the new releases aisle of Blockbuster, and I quite liked it at that age. But well, I guess we'll get into more of that later. Josh, why don't you tell us about Vincent Price?
All right, so all of this backstory was being covered on Poor Man's Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah, it was.
A sanitarium of slaughter, supervised by a surgeon gone mad, Richard Benjamin Vannicut.
Dr. Richard Benjamin Vannicut. Little known today, but likely the most prolific mass murderer of this century. He outbutchered Bundy. He made Manson look meek, and the site of his carnage still exists today, restored almost to its original state. But it has yet to be inhabited, because some say the spirits of Vannicut and his victims still live within the walls of the house on Haunted Hill.
That was my note right here. Talking about the incident on Unsolved Mysteries, aka Terrifying But True.
And we're introduced to Jean Grey taking a bubble bath, and she calls her husband Stephen Price, played by Jeffrey Rush. And I get it, Stephen Price is a reference to Fred Durst, but
Oh my god.
I'm probably going to refer to him as Vincent Price for this podcast, so just don't at me.
Yeah, I mean, I just did that myself, so I think we're on the same page. But what is he up to? He's got his new...
He's got the new fucking roller coaster for the kiddies, right? It just throws a random roller coaster off the track, and that's supposed to scare the shit out of you.
This guy is a little trickster, isn't he?
He's a little devious bastard, right? So, have you ever seen a roller coaster that starts at the top?
No, but I do think it's a great idea.
The reporter, is like...
It's just like Free Fall at Magic Mountain.
I mean, it's a full-on roller coaster, though, right? So it starts at the top. That's cool. This roller coaster, by the way, is a real roller coaster that doesn't start at the top. It's the Hulk at Universal Studios, Florida. It's the Hulk roller coaster. Anyway, when they show the part where it starts at the top and you have to take an elevator up to it, I paused it and it doesn't work. Because the part that it shows it starts off is a corkscrew. So you can't just start, and you need some momentum to do a corkscrew. It doesn't make any sense.
Gravity.
No, it's going straight before it goes down.
Gravity schmavity.
I think he did a really good job playing the part as the in that scene. He had me going.
Jeffrey Rush is just a fucking good actor.
Because this is the first time I'd seen this movie. I didn't know that he was setting them up on the interview. So he actually had me at that during that interview.
One setup after the other, because first you take the elevator, and then the elevator pretends to crash.
Right.
Which is a thing that only works once. So I was thinking about this way too hard. I'm okay, so it's gonna scare the people that are testing it, sure. But then after that, like word of mouth and everything, like it's not a thing anymore. Like,
well, I
everyone's in
mean,
on the-
is it word of mouth, or is it one of those things where, like, the people that know, and then you bring your friends? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into it. You know?
I was comparing it in my head to like Haunted Mansion, where like when you go in Haunted Mansion and then they immediately close the door and they're like, now you got to try to find a way out. But it's like at that point, you already know you're participating in something that's not real. Like he's trying to make it seem like the elevator is really going to fucking crash. You're going to die before you ever get on this thing. I don't know.
Look, he's Stephen goddamn Price.
Well, I've seen in like, I don't know, one of those Chinese countries or something. It's like these like glass ledges, right? And you're standing on them, and then but they're really screens, and they project images of the glass shattering, and people are freaking out. Have you never seen that?
No, that's cool.
Okay, so you're like over the, like, for example, something like the Grand Canyon, and you're walking on this glass balcony so you can look down into the canyon, and all of a sudden it projects an image on that pane of glass that you're walking on as being shattered, and all these people just start freaking out because you look like you're going to fall through.
Oh, okay. So it's that kind. Okay.
And that was the same effect that he used in that elevator.
Okay, now it's kind of working for me. That's
Right.
good. That's some good real world time.
And these people go to this knowing that that's what the effect is,
But some
and it
don't.
still freaks them the fuck out.
All right. So one other thing, real quick about the roller coaster. Josh, you mentioned this, but did they gotta just like launch a fucking roller coaster cart into somewhere in the theme park every time they run this fucking thing? You guys saw that, right? Like they just...
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all.
Where does it land?
I rewound it. I was like, wait, was that an illusion or something? No, they just launched one right off the tracks. Oop, okay.
Yeah, like the tracks lifted up.
Yeah, and it goes off of them.
Does it like
Right.
just completely like break apart when it lands? Do you like completely have to scrap one every time somebody runs
Does
that
it just
run?
go into some guy's yard? Like, he's like, God damn it. These fucking roller coasters out here.
Dude, like every 80 seconds, they've got to come up with a new fucking roller coaster.
How often are they building these carts?
And
Like,
how often are they going through those dummies? Right?
yeah, and he's concerned about one of them's arm coming off. Dude, you're about to launch it off the fucking coaster.
The
Who cares?
maintenance on this thing must be a fucking logistical nightmare.
I can't believe we're getting so hung up on this fucking shit.
Well, we've had the pleasure of growing up in Southern California, where at any time we could go to what, three or four different amusement parks and get on roller coasters.
Yeah,
I would say we're experienced.
yeah. I've gone to Six Flags a lot in my life.
Yeah, for sure.
Josh, any good theme parks out in Alabama?
No. You've got... It was once called Visionland, but now, believe it or not, it's called the Alabama Adventure.
Oh my god, that sounds awesome.
They go down to the creek and catch tadpoles, dude. That's what they do out there.
I've been to Georgia a couple times. There's a Six Flags in Georgia.
Oh, okay.
In Atlanta. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about what this movie's actually about, which is Evelyn, who is, like you said, Jean Grey, Famke Jensen. It's her birthday, and she wants to have this weird birthday celebration where she invites some guests over to this haunted hill house.
What a weird ass, last minute, hey, I sent an invite to 200 people to this haunted place. Come check it out for my birthday.
I guess she's just one of those kind of weird semi-goth people that just like spooky shit. But her list changes, Josh. It changes on its own.
Holy shit, no, first of all, Jeffy Rush completely shreds her list and makes his own only for the computer to get zapped with ghost powers. It's a real Casper situation, and I think this is what brought us here, right?
Yes, it is, because the same shit happens in Casper when he goes through the electrical lines. That is what brought us here. We're back.
What the fuck? Can ghosts travel through the fucking power lines? I need experts to get back to me on this.
Wait, how's the house gonna send out invitations? There's a lot of energy in here. It likes to travel through light beams and sound waves, electricity, whatever.
A phone line?
Yeah, sure. Now that we're in the Twilight Zone.
Into an online computer? Through the internet?
No, stop. Wait, this is crazy.
Basically, well, ghosts are some form of an energy. So why not?
So ghosts are real, according to Jonathan.
So they're on my Wi-Fi?
They could be.
I mean, if they have your password,
better-
sure.
You better go shut it off. You need to turn off all your electronics.
I gotta change my password. God damn it.
So the guest list changes. Our guests arrive at the place. So it's not the people that Jeffrey Rush expected. It's not the people that Evelyn expected. It's a whole new group of people. They just got an invite that basically says, come here, survive the night, and you get $1 million, baby. Now, personally, I'd be super into that because unlike Jonathan, I do not believe in ghosts because they are not real.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
I'm not afraid of them either. If they exist, they exist. If they don't, they don't.
Would you stay there?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What
for
about
for $1 million?
In the context of the movie, though?
Yeah.
Name one incident where a ghost killed somebody. I'd fight a ghost.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like I wouldn't be tripped up about it.
Not at all.
Unless there's some like horrible like late 90s, early 2000s CGI, then that might be a bit of a problem.
Yeah, that's truly terrifying.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely have lots of strobe lights, so, you know, they got that going for them.
And that's annoying, at least, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, this is really like the turning point. I think the turning point of the ghost in the computer and the Wi-Fi's, like that was the turning point of this movie that got so bad.
that's at the very beginning.
Yeah.
It turned quick.
The best part was Famke in the bathtub. I mean,
All right,
seriously.
look, I hate to do this on the pod because we do it kind of a lot, but she is one of the most attractive women I've ever seen in my life. Like,
Yeah.
good God, is
Yeah.
she hot?
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's
She's also a member of the X-Men.
Well,
That's bonus points, if ever there were any.
for sure.
bonus points.
So, what's Pritchett about? Who is he, Josh?
Is this Chris Kattan?
Yeah.
I'm going to answer for him. He's a fucking douchebag. That's who he is.
Stop your car and get out of the car. Please, sir or ma'am, whoever's in the car, get out. Hi. Hello. We're gonna have to walk the rest of the way because the driveway's out, okay? So let's go. Quickly. Even quicker. Did I say quicker? I think I did.
Right off the bat, why is Chris Kattan in this movie? It's the most miscast thing I've ever seen in my life.
Awful casting.
Whoever like thought this was a good idea, I hope they got fired.
Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
I just don't think he could play that character very well. He didn't play this like paranoid guy very well at all.
He was just kind of a pain in the ass. He's like, all right, hurry up, get the fuck out of the car, get in the place. He's really pushy.
At one point, he's all like, God damn it, give me my check now, because I want it. So you give it to me.
That part was pretty funny.
That's it. I'm sorry to interrupt her. God damn it! You give me my goddamn check right now! Because I want it. So you give it! Now!
I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but it was. Give it to me now, because I want it.
Dude, like how do you take a like screaming little tween seriously, screaming for his check? Give it to me now because I want it.
And they're all like, is the house haunted? He's like, oh, this is pretty spooky.
It's pretty haunted, you know? Yeah, it's a good amount. Anyway, let's get the fuck in here.
So, is this dump really haunted?
It's pretty scary. Let's have a good time. Let's go on.
I'd like to imagine that was like Chris Kattan in real life. He's like, I don't want to be in this shitty film. Just let's wrap this up.
All right, so I'm going to talk about the cast a little bit just to kind of get the names and faces and stuff. So the people that come, there's Taye Diggs, who's Eddie.
Eddie Baker, former pro baseball player.
Probably my favorite actor in the whole movie.
He's cool.
Aside from Jeff Rush.
I really respect Taye Diggs. He was in... People that know me closely know that I am a really big fan of Rent, which is a old Broadway production from the 80s. He was the original Benny in Rent, and he was also in the movie when Chris Columbus did it, so he's cool. Dr. Blackburn.
Donald W. Blackburn, MD.
Played by a guy called Peter Gallagher. He's lame. There's 2 blonde chicks that I confused with each other when I was younger.
Yeah, me too, right?
Sonia Blade is one of them.
I smell something. Bullshit.
Bridget Wilson.
Dude, just totally put in the clip of Billy Madison where he's like, "Oh, Veronica, so hot, want to touch the hiney." Ow. Ow.
Yeah, so Veronica Vaughn, she's one of them. She plays Melissa. And then Ali Larder, I think is the pronunciation of her name. She plays Sarah. She was in Heroes for a long time and a few other things. She was in Heroes for too long. She died and then came back with the twin sister bullshit.
I forgot she was in Heroes. I was going to call her Claire Redfield from the shitty Resident Evil sequels.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that too. She's whatever. She's fine.
She's okay. She's serviceable.
Those are our people, and they don't have a whole lot of character to them. They just, they're people in a horror movie, which are always kind of... You don't really get to explore the characters in horror movies that often, especially horror movies like this.
They're people in a horror movie, and then there's Chris Kattan. What does katana mean?
What does katana mean? It means Japanese sword.
It means Japanese CGI mess that ruins the third act of your film.
The one of the actresses that you mentioned, Bridget Wilson, 2 years prior, she was in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Like, how do you go from potentially like a good kind of a thriller movie like that really had a name for itself to go to a movie like this?
Well, to be fair, it was either I Know What You Did Last Summer or Mortal Kombat Annihilation. So, what do you go with?
Wait, Bridget Wilson was in I Know What You Did Last Summer, or Ali Larder?
Bridget Wilson.
Bridget Wilson.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I must have forgotten about
She's
that.
like Sarah Michelle Gellar's older sister in that movie, if I'm not mistaken.
She was in another movie we did, Last Action Hero. There it is.
Yeah.
Introducing Bridget Wilson in Last Action Hero.
That's right. But they all arrive in the house. Chris Kattan is very reluctant. As soon as they get in, some shit goes down. There's like a glass ceiling that's like all spooky looking. Completely shatters on top of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 people, right?
Almost kills Jean Grey right off the bat.
I read that during that scene, do you see where like Jean Grey's like head bounces and like twitches like after it hits the ground? Like that really happened.
Oh,
like that was not like a stunt. Like she really fell and banged her head on the ground and it bounced back up and they got it on film.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like a pretty brutal thing to happen.
That's concussion protocol right there.
Also though, like the glass coming down is intense. Like that, I feel like that should cause more damage than the one little scratch we see on her face for the rest of the movie, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I guess glass in movies, man, it doesn't hurt. Never hurts anyone in a movie.
So they all got that invitation. So whoever survives gets $1 million, right? Well, at that point, like what I had felt was that you could see that Mr. Price was setting all this up, right? Like it was all kind of a staged thing.
Yeah, plus we'd seen him earlier with like the roller coaster stuff. We know he's kind of like slimy.
Right, and then he's in there talking to the security camera guy, and they've got cameras planted all over the place.
Buck-tooth redneck guy, like rigging shit.
Did you see he had Blockbuster rentals on his desk? I'm like, what are you doing renting movies when you're supposed to be watching security cameras all night?
He's watching a better horror movie.
Yeah, for sure.
The thing is, he's the Dennis Nedry of this movie. Like, he's like the tech guy that's going to control it all, but his desk is like a mess, and he's just like constantly eating. He's like going from one sandwich to the other. Yeah. But some of it is controlled by Price. Some of the shit that goes down, and some of it is not, right? Like the glass was, I assume.
Right.
But he says that when they all get locked in, which happens next, he says that wasn't him. Like, oh, trying to figure out what it is. Is it Famke Jensen doing it?
Yeah.
Or is it something else?
Why do I feel like this is some sick joke to scare us out of our wits and a hell of a lot of money?
You got that right. Take a bow, you sick fuck. You've outdone yourself tonight. Scared the shit out of even me.
You've had your fun. Open this place up.
Asking the wrong guy. Wasn't me who closed it.
Sure it wasn't.
The house is alive.
They were both so suspect the whole entire movie.
Yeah, we're going to get to this, but it's just like twist on top of a twist. At some point, it's like, come on, man. Enough.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it. Let's kind of like break it in. Josh, why don't you tell us about some of the shenanigans our group gets up to at the start here?
So, like, I forget how it's set up, but like the little mini coffins, right? The small coffins where they get the guns. So they get guns.
Yeah, they get power-ups pretty quick.
Yeah, they're packing heat.
Well, they open up this like big coffin, like a full-sized coffin, and there's all these little mini coffins floating inside of it.
It's very cute. It's very like goth decor. Like it was clearly like set up, but like
it's very Resident Evil 2, the video game.
It doesn't fit the house though, because like everything is like naturally scary. Like, oh, there's all this stuff going on that's actually spooky. There people really died here. There's blood splatters. But then you have this like cute, like pristine coffin.
It was about as scary as like doing bobbing for apples at like a Halloween party at elementary school. Like
with like little fucking rubber bats. But yeah, for whatever reason, Jeffrey Rush says, "Here, everyone take a gun." You never know. You might have to shoot a ghost in the head.
Yeah, you never know when this turns into Contra, you know?
And the clips are welded shut, or welded into the guns. This guy's really just throwing money around, isn't he?
He's spared no expense.
Jonathan, so do you have any noteworthy parts for like what kind of transpires next? There's a lot of like, let's go downstairs and explore. Let's go back up. Let's go back down.
That's exactly what I have now. It's like everybody kind of decides that they want to go to the basement to try to find the controls to open up the windows and the doors. It's like, okay.
It's pretty early on we see that Vincent Price and his wife are like madly in love, right?
You know, if you really love me, you find a way to drop dead in the next 3 seconds.
Finding ways for me to die is really your deal, isn't it, Evelyn? Let's not forget the OJ knife with the not quite retractable blade. Your Jim Jones Kool-Aid that was exactly that.
Accidents. All accidents until proven otherwise.
I'd be so happy if that were really true, Evelyn. And positively goddamn delirious if you weren't fucking every living thing in our area code.
The love is palpable.
More of the mad part than the love part, for sure.
Yeah. This is like classic like 90s TV and movie husband and wife status shit. Like there's a lot of like the husband and wife hate each other. I mean, this takes it to a whole new level, obviously. They want to fucking kill each other. But anyway, Jonathan, you were saying.
It's that typical scary movie thing where let's go out and adventure, you know? Instead of like, all they needed to do was just chill all night. They could have stayed in the living room right there and just chilled.
Where it's nice and they have alcohol. Like,
yeah, dude, they probably had plenty of food. They got some booze.
And gotten drunk on scotch.
And, you know, whatever.
But Jonathan, they want to splash around in the pool of blood.
Dude, Famke probably would have put out. I mean, dude, she's like, her husband, Jeffrey Price, is probably a total cuck. Like, I'm sure, dude, you know?
Which part of that fantasy turns you on the most? Me with other men? Or just the other men?
So, I mean...
On that note, at one point, Chris Kattan is like, man, I would love to get laid before I die.
Yeah.
And then he turns to her and he's like, how you doing tonight? That is kind of funny. That part kind of works.
Like I would expect that from Chris Kattan. Like that's the kind of role that he should play, but not this like little paranoid schizo, you know? Anyways, yeah, so Eddie and
Sarah.
Sarah. So they take off. They tend to they kind of have like a little buddy system, you know, and they take off and go exploring, looking for the controls because Chris Kattan told them that the controls were in the basement. It's like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure like I'm not going to go venture around in nearly 60-year-old psych ward with craziness going on.
Well, here's the thing. Like the guy says, all right, you get $1 million if you survive the night. Now, what I would have done, and this is non-alcoholic me talking, I would have drank in the lobby a lot probably, ate some food, busted out my sleeping bag, and crack of dawn. I'd have been like, all right, I'll take the check, please. They even said there's some people coming at 9:30 or whatever. So like, you'll have outside help at that point.
Yeah.
That would have worked if everybody else was on board with you. These cracker-ass white people would have brought the CGI darkness out and you would have been killed in your sleep.
There's only one solution here, okay? Nobody gives a fuck about anybody in this entire movie. I would have gotten the gun, right? You're going to have at least 9 bullets in there.
Okay.
Dude, you got one for everybody's fucking head, including Chris Kattan. You take all 6 checks. You're fucking done, dude.
So you're saying you would have murdered everyone?
Unless you were there with me, then yeah.
Just condoning murder.
He's like,
dude, all you have to do is survive. I mean, clearly it was in all of Mr. Price's agenda to fucking kill people.
I don't think in his pile of checks there was a get out of jail free card, Jonathan.
The house says so.
You could have been like, it was the fucking house, man. It's called the House on Haunted Hill.
Exactly.
You gotta have the foresight to know that Vincent Price is secretly wearing a bulletproof vest and probably a wire.
Hence why I said headshots.
Exactly.
There's no bulletproof face mask, you know?
Well, like, is it... I don't know. Just watching this movie made me feel like I was playing a Silent Hill game or a Resident Evil game. You know, like you're going down these scary hallways, like with a flashlight. Then you get the gun. Then you start shooting ghosts.
Yeah, it's very much like of that kind of like vibe. To get to some of the horror that happens, you talked about the vat of blood. That's nothing. Who gives a shit? But
is that what that really was? Like that big tank?
Even Chris Kattan's like, oh, that's nothing. You're just playing around with the ghosts. Wait till somebody unleashes the fucking darkness.
Wait till the CGI comes out. Then you're in trouble.
Then it'll ruin the third act of your film.
What just happened to you there? That's nothing. You just been playing around with the ghosts. Wait till somebody lets out the darkness in this place. That's a whole new bunch of crazy shit. You'll hate that shit.
What is this darkness?
The thing, the evil. The thing that's the rotten core at the bottom of this place. The thing that's gonna kill us all. Death by corrosion, that thing.
Yeah, like the ghosts were the best part, dude. Why is he downplaying them like that?
Right?
He's wrong.
There's some very interesting things going on with the ghosts. As opposed to, you know, worse CGI than Anaconda starring Ice Cube.
Well, I gotta say with like the ghost, we see the Jeffrey Combs ghost, the Dr. Vannicut. This is one of the first movies I remember where it showed like security footage of a ghost and he started moving in that like weirdly fast frame rate. You know what I'm talking about? Like you see that in like The Ring and stuff. But this came a little bit before that, I'm pretty sure. At least the American version came before the American version.
I remember as a kid really liking that effect. Does it hold up?
I thought that was cool.
I think it still works.
Yeah.
I don't think it works in a movie made in 2020, but I think it holds up watching older movies.
Well, it's a good like tension builder, but it has to like lead up to something for it to really pay off. So like it's a good way to get you like, oh shit, what is that? That's creepy. Yeah. And then it's supposed to deliver after that.
It has to lead up to your bucktooth redneck technician having his face blown out, right?
Okay, I'll say this. The fact that that's all practical is fucking awesome. Do you remember the dude's face being gone?
Dude, totally gone. Like you could see down his throat.
And it's not only his face, it's like his brain.
Dude, everything within the skull, from lower jaw to the top of his cranium, is just fucking like gone.
There's some really good practical effects going on early on in the film. So why don't we just ruin it by just doing this giant CGI fucking travesty?
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was saying the stuff with the ghosts, it just works better than like the
What were they
darkness.
thinking?
There was one scene that stood out to me, and I think it was when Sarah and Eddie, like after they turn on the lights and see like all the dead bodies and the skeletons and the gurneys and like all that crazy shit, right? There's this scene where they start seeing like blood coming out of the wall, and then there's like all these like maggots like wriggling around.
Oh
in a crack.
I remember
and
the part.
It was just so weird, but it felt like really out of place for everything else that they were going on that they had done well. It just seemed really just half-assed.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're describing is part of what doesn't work with this movie, like the inconsistencies. Because we've been going back and forth on the pod, like, oh, this happened, which is pretty cool, and this happened, which is pretty lame. Like, there's a lot of that, and I think the lame really outweighs the cool stuff. But it is trickled in here and there. It's just not consistent, right? So something happens, you like it. Something else happens, not so great. And again, I said there's two big parts that work for me. One was at the beginning, and one is, well, coming up, I guess. We should talk about Veronica Vaughn.
That Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace.
She like goes off by herself.
That's a very strong scene for me. This scene was so fucking creepy as a kid.
What'd you think, Jonathan?
Is this the one where she gets murked out?
She is like camcordering her way around the basement.
Right. With that old... Well, I guess that was like a pretty advanced camera for the time, right?
It was,
like
yeah.
That was like the original GoPro right there.
Yeah, that like high like camera, like kind of like I used to have, like with the screen.
Yeah, it has like 1.5 megapixels recording capability.
It can record ghosts, though.
Yeah.
It can pick up things the human eye can't see. That's a feature. They should have put that on the box.
They would have sold a shit ton of them. Yeah, I mean, her demise was really fucking intense, and that was another scene that I was actually like glued on compared to a lot of the other events happening in there. That worked for me.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, a lot of this movie is just aimless wandering.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is.
It's just plot contrivances that get them downstairs into this set where it's like creepy stuff, you know? And then
a lot of bad electrical wiring.
And somehow, in a way I can't possibly understand, they get separated a lot. Like, how does this happen?
Is it the house just fucking with him, or is it just conveniences for the script to work?
Honestly, I think it's their fault. Like
it really is.
They wander off.
Yeah, they do totally wander off. But in the very beginning, Pritchett also said, like, this house is a total maze.
Yeah.
There was that one line that he said.
So we should all just kind of just venture off. Don't worry about, any sort of, buddy system. Just if you get lost, just deal with it.
I mean, I feel like if I was trying to stay with someone and like not separate, I could successfully do that if it's just me and 3 other people in a very narrow corridor. I mean, call me crazy. I imagine like the ghosts watching them like, all right, let's separate them. And like, oh fuck, they separated themselves. We don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, that situation kind of worked itself out, right, fellas?
Break time, boys.
All right. Meet us back in 10.
And lunch.
So in the gang's wandering abouts in the house or hospital, whatever it may be, they eventually find Evelyn hooked up to an active like electroshock machine. Like she's actively getting electrocuted, right, Jonathan?
Yeah, that was super intense, man. She was just like
very shocking.
Oh my god.
Wow.
No, go ahead.
It was hard to believe that she was actually acting during that scene. Like that was, I don't know, man. That was pretty intense for me.
It was pretty good.
I could never portray what she was going through.
You can't
for
flail
sure.
like that?
No.
No?
No, man. I don't flail.
Back when we were kids, I could have sworn you could flail like that.
Yeah, I was a lot more limber back then.
Weren't we all? No, but they find her electrocuted. She's declared dead by the doctor, who hasn't really done too much in this. Josh, do you have anything of note there?
I mean, afterwards we get to, the Vincent Price, House of Fun, which is the... What is the actual term for it?
The saturation chamber, you mean?
The Chamber of Secrets? What is it called?
Yeah, so there's this big tank. They have a throwaway line about it earlier that, okay, the doctor that used to run this place would put people in this tank, and it would flash lights and like run images that would make a sane person crazy. So the idea was it would make a crazy person sane again. It doesn't really make sense, but that's the way they describe this chamber. So after like Evelyn is electrocuted and dead, Vincent Price, now I'm calling him that, god damn it. Price just kind of goes crazy. So like they have to like put him away, so he's like, I don't know, not gonna kill anyone. They put him in the saturation chamber. Now this, what he goes through in the saturation chamber is part 2 of what works in this movie for me. Because the doctor guy runs the machine, and it's flashing a lot of lights, it's spinning around, but he starts to fucking hallucinate. Either that or he's just like getting mind abducted by ghosts. But he sees some really fucking crazy shit. And I like that it switches to black and white to like give it this otherworldly feel during that moment. And the only parts that are in color are reds. So you see like the blood and you see the lipstick of that like Michael Jackson looking nurse. You know the one I'm talking about?
Yes.
They put him in the incubation chamber and they're going to turn him into Blanca.
Oh my god, they're going to play the good memories. Dalshin's wedding tape. Yeah, he's up there in the Chamber of Secrets just having a good time. But yeah, that whole scene where he's like on the table and he's about to be operated on by the doctor, and then he like falls through the table and he's in water, and he sees like a face, like a demon face that's just like a mouth. I like that whole bit. I like everything about it. It's like super good. I think so. Jonathan, was it doing anything for you?
Yeah, I agree. And I think like that kind of spoke to his actual character, because he had a lot of like evil intentions, I think, whether it was consciously or subconsciously. And so I think at that moment I feel like he discovered a lot about himself. He was seeing himself in that bit of like psychosis or whatever you want to call it.
That's a good way to look at it. Yeah. Josh?
Oh, dude, I absolutely love this scene. The what is the weird like the pacifier they put in his mouth that gives him like the grin?
Yeah, he has that like rictus. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, visually it's pretty creepy.
No, I agree. And that's about like, I don't know, maybe a little more than halfway in. And unfortunately, those are the two big moments for me.
Big old Vincent Price acid trip.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Jeffrey Combs bouncing the ball. He's like dribbling it. I kept like wanting him to like to do a bunch of like professional like NBA like dribbles, between the legs.
It turns into like Scary Movie 2.
Yes.
It turns into the Nike commercial.
Yeah, which was Scary Movie 2 was based on. Oh my god. I can't believe I make fun of that moment and we just referenced it. Anyway. So our gang of heroes have like a realization somewhere along the lines that all the guests were related to people that worked at the hospital, so that's why the ghosts want them there to just like punish them, I guess.
Look at these names. Head nurse, Ruth Ann Stockard, electroshock, Adolphus Jensen, Franklin Baker, Thomas Stevens Price, Jasper Marr. They're all here.
Who's all here? I'm missing something.
Everyone that was invited is related to one of the staff that was here when the place burned.
Whatever. There's a twist though, right?
The twist is Taye Diggs was adopted and he had nothing to do with this shit.
He's so full of shit.
These crackers.
Oh my god. This is some white people shit.
Damn, this shit is whack.
No, there is a twist, and that is Famke Jensen. I should call her by her character name, Evelyn. She is not really dead. Apparently, she's just like having an affair with this doctor guy.
She's mostly dead.
She's having an affair with this guy, and like I guess is in on it.
That's the douchebag from Mr. Deeds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The relationship isn't that serious, I guess, because she just fucking kills him and chops his head off. I mean, oh my god. There's a couple fucking stupid things that happen right here. So, like, that's one of the twists. And then everyone thinks Vincent Price killed that guy. So he gets shot, but he's not really dead. That's another twist. It's like, it's just too much too quick right there, you know?
Right. And then right after that was where Evelyn, like, confesses to him that she was only with him for the money and all that stuff. And then he, like, comes back to life and chokes the shit out of her. She like totally like Homer Simpson's her and fucking grabs her around the neck.
But no matter how it ended, please just know one thing. From the first moment I set eyes on you, I have always, always loved your money. On the other hand, just the sight of you has always made me want to puke.
Is that a fact, princess?
Dude, what is going on? Did he have like squibs? Because he gets shot and blood splatters, right?
Yeah. No, it did, for sure.
He activated squibs at the exact times he was shot.
Yeah, dude, he had caps, man.
And how come some of them were blanks and some of them weren't? At one point, someone fires a gun and it like shoots a bottle or something.
Right, that was like way in the beginning. He's like, I swear, Stephen Price is like, I swear I only loaded him with blanks. And so, okay, so the fucking house grew hands and put bullets in there instead? Like,
no, it was Chucky from Child's Play 3 loading them in.
Oh,
Took out the paintball rounds.
I would have rather fucking done a pod on Chucky 3 than this movie, dude.
I would love to do a podcast on that movie.
It's a solid film with the kid that reprises the role of Andy is the lead actor from Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my god, don't remind me of that shit.
Dude, that's my jam.
Man, after doing that movie, he might have wanted to play Hide the Soul for real.
What do you call this game anyway?
Hide the soul. Trust me, you're gonna love it.
Whatever you say, Charles.
Hide the soul.
Fire the agent, more like.
This is where the like actual demons of the house appear during the fight that Jonathan was describing. So like Price is choking out his wife Evelyn. He's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you for real this time. No more like faking our deaths like we've been doing for the last 15 minutes. Like this time it's for real. He like throws her into a wall breaks through. She's in this like burnt down room.
And then he suddenly cares.
He suddenly cares when he sees like
there's a bad CGI effect coming for her?
The bad CGI effect, the actual like demonic nature, I guess is what that's supposed to be. Because there's two aspects to this. There's ghosts in this movie, and then there's like the actual evil, as like I guess Chris Kattan called it.
As portrayed by a giant CGI. I don't even know what to describe this thing. It's a CGI fart cloud circa 1999.
That's what it is. I mean,
it was the Nothing.
Yeah. Well, the Nothing was better than this, at least.
Yeah.
The last like act of this movie is them kind of just running away from a slow-moving cloud, isn't it, Jonathan?
Yeah, that's like what's that Pokemon, dude? The toxic cloud one?
Coughing?
Yeah, like that's
coughing.
Coughing was chasing them through the house, you know?
Coughing.
Like, oh no. Let me walk away quickly.
Let me move at a brisk pace.
Yeah, seriously, I don't want to break a sweat or anything, but I would like to elevate my heart rate just a little.
It can't seep through the cracks of a door. It has to burst through a door.
You know what? Worst case scenario, just quickly dodge to the right and let Chris Kattan take the bullet.
Well, Chris Kattan gets...
It only happens because Vincent Price totally last minute ducks out of the way as Chris Kattan opens the door.
Yeah. So obviously Chris Kattan was gonna die, but I didn't think he was gonna make it this long, you know?
Well, he really, really wanted that check, and he really wanted it now.
So you give it to me. Because I want it.
I want to know how much he was getting paid. I don't think they ever disclosed what his payment was for the renting the house.
Do you think that was him actually talking to the director? Like, give me my check because I want it now.
Dude, he probably had like 3 or 4 8-balls waiting for him out on the curb he had to go pick up.
He's like, I'm due at a Halloween party with Will Ferrell, celebrating a night at the Roxbury success.
Yeah, success. Yeah, one thing I forgot to mention was Melissa's body parts are found around the time like the Nothing appears, which is pretty fucking cool. Like she's like
that.
Cut up and on display on a rack. That's pretty nice.
It's a nice touch.
Absolutely. So we talked about the smoke monster taking Pritchett. It takes him.
Did we mention the fact that they totally discover that the house actually invited them because they're the descendants of the people that got away?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Except for Taye Diggs.
Except for Taye Diggs, who was adopted.
I had nothing to do with this! I was adopted!
Let me ask the question. So why did... Who was the one that was with him at the end? That was Sarah, right?
Sarah, yeah.
Right. So why did she not get killed? I mean,
Sarah was about to get killed by the smoke, but Price like pushed her out of the way, and then he got killed by the smoke.
Yeah, but if she was still one of the descendants, she should have. Oh, she could have got anyways, right?
Taye Diggs was for sure one of the descendants. I think it was just bullshitting.
Were they like totally hinting that like what was her backstory? Because they started to mention something. And I got the impression that, like, she totally, like, stole her boss's invitation.
She did.
Okay, so let's say hypothetically, I'm not exactly who I said I was. Okay, so you're right, you're a genius. I don't know anyone that could have seen through me like that. All right, look. My real name is Sarah, and I'm an assistant. Was, anyway. The real Jennifer bitch that was invited here. Now you know, and I'm begging that you don't tell anyone because I'm out of a job. You could use even a tenth of that money.
That's what it was.
So is she actually a descendant?
Oh, I see what you're saying, Jonathan, is like he must actually be adopted because he didn't die, and she
didn't die because she wasn't supposed to be there in the first place.
Yeah. Okay. I could deal with this.
I still wouldn't buy that for $1.
Would you not buy that for $1?
No, I wouldn't.
In the attic, our gang tries to escape. That's where like all the mechanics are to like open the sealed windows and stuff. So they start to open them, but the ghost thing is like coming. Sarah gets out, but Taye Diggs is stuck inside, right?
Right.
And the smoke is like really gonna take its time with him. It's like, all right, motherfucker.
Well, he couldn't really see him.
I got you cornered. Now we're gonna taunt you for a little while before letting you out. Is that what's going on there, Josh?
Yeah, totally. It's all like, you know, hey, Sully, you remember when I promised to kill you last? I lied. And it goes through like everybody's like terrible motion capturing, you know? Like everybody's terrible CGI face where everybody like, you see like Jeffrey Rush, Famke Jensen, I think Bridget Wilson, they all start coming out of this.
Yeah, they're all like, come play with us, Danny.
Yeah, they're all like, come play with us, Danny.
But as he's cornered and he's about to get devoured by the demonic ghost smoke, a hero emerges from the ashes. A Force ghost, Chris Kattan, appears.
Katana ghost.
And pulls the chain, which allows... Jonathan, why are you shaking your head? What is your problem with this beautiful scene?
We weren't even in the basement where the controls were. The controls were up there the whole fucking time, dude.
No one ever went upstairs of the 9 hours they were there.
They started out upstairs. What? And Pritchett was like, oh, the controls are downstairs. Fucking lying piece of shit, dude. They were right there the whole time.
You could have lived if you told the truth. He wanted to save the day as a ghost. That image of him as a ghost is one of the fucking stupidest things I've ever seen in my life.
So dumb.
No, it's the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. Him pulling that rope in ghost form.
Dude, I just thought of something. I would totally be pissed off if I was Pritchett, because all these other people, if they survived all night, they could get $1 million plus, right?
Yeah.
But he wasn't eligible for the $1 million. He wasn't one of them. He was just getting his check.
Cause like whatever, like
Oh.
$4,000 or
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
So like, yeah, I gotta get back to the Roxbury.
He got a fucking $50 Chili's gift card or something.
It's like good enough for you and a friend, but like not. You have to pay for your own dessert. Like it doesn't cover it.
Yeah, it's like dinner for two, but you got to buy your own drinks.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You can not. $50 only take you so far.
Right.
You know?
But yeah, like, dude, I'd be pretty like bent out of shape if I was him. Be like, I gotta survive all night here.
You wouldn't
too.
have pulled the chain. You wouldn't have let him out.
Fuck them all,
You'd
dude.
have been
I'm doing this for a Chili's gift card, dude. Like, you're all going down with me.
Chili's gift card.
You would have been the most bitter ghost.
Dude, so bitter. Petty as fuck, dude.
Would you say you would be so petty that you would, like put out your energy through the power lines and get revenge on some ancestors?
Dude, I would totally change everybody's Wi-Fi passwords daily.
You would be the most annoying ghost. Like you'd be like
for sure
the Dennis the Menace of ghosts.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I would make him look like an amateur for sure.
Oh, Mr. Kattan. All right. So to wrap up the ending, Taye Diggs, Eddie, and Sarah, they both do escape the building itself, and then it closes back up. I guess for whatever reason, like the demon smoke, it can't leave the building. Even though it's the hill that's haunted and not the house, we established that. But whatever, they can't leave, and they're just sitting out there on the ledge of the top of this building with the checks. The checks have made it outside. The checks followed them somehow. So the checks are there, they got a bunch of money, they ended on some really stupid one-liners.
That was one kick-ass party.
Like, really, was it though? Like, was that a kick-ass party? Like, 7 people died or something? Like, what? That's like not a good time. Like,
yeah, that was probably a pretty awful night for both of them.
Yeah, like they're gonna remember that forever as like the worst time they've ever had in their life.
Yeah, but they got $6 million made out to cash though.
Yeah, but that's not gonna save you from going to prison. Like, there's dead bodies in there. Some of them were shot. Like,
you're telling me that, like, okay, I have a hard time thinking. You keep bringing up this reference of like going to prison or somebody finding out. Nobody's fucking finding out if the house doesn't want them to.
Why does the house care if they go to jail? You saying the house is like gonna act as their fucking lawyer?
Like, no, but what I'm saying is nobody's ever gonna find out.
There's like a fucking construction crew coming in at like 9:30. They're gonna like walk in and see a guy without a face and be like, "The fuck went down over here?" The
house is just gonna eat them up too.
It's that meme. What the fuck going on over there? No, I guess you're right then. Anyone that goes in just dies. So like at some point people stop going in.
I don't know. I think the whatever that crew coming in the next day was total bullshit anyways. But
okay.
If the house had been keeping all of the rest of the secrets for 60 years at that point? Come on.
How do they get down though? They don't exactly have a rope ladder or anything.
I want to say that I've seen the sequel once, and I want to say there's one throwaway line in the sequel.
What is it?
I don't remember. Nobody. Did you guys? Did you guys watch Return to House on Haunted Hill?
No. You know what? I actually would be interested in watching the one from 1959 though.
It's probably better than this one.
It's probably better.
Yeah.
Well, do they have a giant CGI that ruins the third act of your film?
Very unlikely.
Way better CGI.
I wonder what the line is though in the sequel. Like, what do they say? Like, they jumped? Like, fucking a helicopter was driving by? Like, what the fuck? How do they get out of there? I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, who cares, man? They got their $6 million cash. Checks made out to cash.
Made out to cash.
Yeah.
I'll collect that now, sir.
I'd love to see somebody take a check, $1 million, made out to cash to their bank. You'd be like, what the fuck is this? Monopoly money? Like, get out of here.
From a recently deceased person?
What happens? They're like, oh, this is like from a dead man's bank account. Like, what? All right,
Yeah.
Here's the money, I guess. Like,
They don't know he's dead yet, though. Like, it was just that morning. I'd go cash that shit right now. Dude, I would leave covered in blood straight to the bank. Cash this shit.
Well, you gotta figure out how to get down first.
I'd figure it out. For $6 million, I'm going to figure it out.
You're gonna MacGyver your way down that fucking house.
You survive the fucking poison attack from coughing, you can make your way down a cliff.
Okay, fair.
Fair enough.
Well, I mean, that's House on Haunted Hill. It's, well, I guess I'll say what it is when we get to ratings. Any final thoughts before ratings, guys?
The ghost tries to cut the wire, the rope. Oh shit, the ghost is cutting. Like, I imagine the ghost with like a little ghost knife cutting the rope.
Yeah, you see the smoke, but underneath it's like holding like a knife. It's like got like a little like kitchen knife.
Trying to totally like cut it really quick. Like,
where did his bulletproof vest go?
Oh, he tossed it off.
Oh,
his bulletproof vest with squibs. Well, that's House on Haunted Hill. Before ratings, I have a question for you guys. We're going old school. Jonathan, in the movie House on Haunted Hill, who is the Jesus character?
Oh shit. It's gonna be Eddie, man. For me, it's Eddie.
Black Jesus.
Dude, straight up Black Jesus. Oh man, one of the best quotes that I've ever heard is from Black Jesus, and I still use it to this day. And it's Black Jesus saying, "You know what? Fuck you too, homeboy, but I still love your bitch ass." Dude, it's classic.
That's one of the greatest things I've ever heard.
Oh, I'm gonna find the YouTube and send it to you because you have to watch it. Anyways, I think he's our Jesus character. He's the savior. He's the only one with a stable like foundation this entire movie. He kept Sarah as stable as he could.
He was trying to get laid, but it's still true.
That's fine. I mean, when is anybody not trying to get laid? I mean, seriously, come on. And if he does, good for him, dude. For me, he's the Jesus character.
Josh, what is your opinion?
I've got to say it's Vincent Price. He totally comes back from death, right?
He does. He's got the resurrection angle down. I'm surprised you didn't say Force Ghost Chris Kattan.
No vanilla. Just hold it there. Vanilla.
But I'll tell you guys what the correct answer is. The actual Jesus character is Bridget Wilson's character, Melissa. You want to know why?
Why?
Because that Veronica Vaughn is one piece of ace.
If you know what I mean.
I know from experience, dude, if you know what I mean.
No, you don't.
Well, not me personally, but my friend and her got it on.
Woo-wee. No, they didn't.
No, they didn't.
Everybody on the bus. Good, great, grand.
Oh, Veronica, so hot.
No yelling on the
Want to
bus.
touch the hiney.
All right, let's get into ratings. Josh, you go first. Any rating scale you want. What are you going to give House on Haunted Hill?
I'm going to give it like 6.5 terrible CGI effects that ruin the third act of your film. The movie's good up until the third act of the film, in which a CGI like fart destroys it. Destroys all tension built up. And then, you got Katana Ghost. Jeffrey Rush, I think, at least I want to feel like he had a good time with this role. He seemed to be having fun, right?
I think so. I was getting some Casanova Frankenstein vibes, which I appreciate.
Holy shit, that's, yeah, solid reference, yeah.
Jonathan, on any rating scale you want, what's it going to be?
Oh, man. I've been trying to think about this for a while, and I really just didn't enjoy this movie. There were, like we talked about earlier, a couple scenes that worked, and I liked most of the cast for sure. And I liked the 90s aspect of the horror type film like this without too much jump scare, but it was actually like well edited footage, you know, that played with your mind rather than rather than just rely on like, oh, let's just fucking flash something in front of the camera and scare the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. I'll give it extra credit for those few quality production shots that we all liked. So I'm gonna give it a 2 out of 5 flying off the tracks coasters. But that's it, man. And I hope I don't ever have to watch this movie again. It was so fucking boring. I was not entertained. That's all I got, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna give it 5 out of 10 Ghost Kattans. I was really struggling to come up with like a rating for this. It's hard one to rate because while watching it, I like didn't mind it, but I was really annoyed with it after I was done watching it. And that's a weird position to put someone in a movie, you know?
Yeah.
There's a couple parts that worked for me. I talked about that several times, so it has that going for it. But this movie really is a lot of just aimlessly wandering around in a building. And that is not great to watch. That's not a lot of fun to see.
There's some pretty suspenseful things, I think, like the Bridget Wilson camera scene, you know, when she looks up from the camera and sees the ghost. At least for me as a kid, that scared the shit out of me, you know?
That Veronica Vaughn.
This will never be our milk.
No milk will ever be our milk.
Hey, you know, for somebody who hates Adam Sandler movies, you sure know a lot of quotes from that one.
Busted.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure you should stop.
Well, that was our podcast on House on Haunted Hill. Josh, why don't you give your channel a shout out?
Alright, so if you want to see me talk more shit about movies, you can follow me at Review Inc. or type Review Dude, D-O-O-D, in your YouTube search bar. I'm on a bit of a hiatus, but I will come back at some point.
We await your triumphant return, Josh. I want to say to the listeners, thank you guys very much for listening. If you're listening on YouTube, give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you use Apple Podcasts, leave us a positive rating and written review, please, and thank you. Find us on Instagram, Big Dumb Movie Podcast, and our email is bigdumbmovie@gmail.com. Anything else? Did I miss anything?
Can I give a shout out to my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
I don't have one. I just wanted to be like you guys.
Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
I thought you were going to say like Jonathan's Electrician Tips 101 or something.
No thanks.
All right, well, thank you guys very much for listening. We love you. Stay spooky out there. Good night.